Hi, and welcome to the Thinking Out Loud podcast, a show with meaningful conversations in English with non natives. My name is Jendrik,
My name is Masha.
and we are two English teachers who,
We say who are also a travel agency, meaning that we can take you traveling to
I
so
love this
many
comparison.
places.
I love this comparison. Back in the days, if I may say so, I was thinking about, my language school, I mean, the physical one. And about the decoration because I rented some space in the city, and I was thinking about how to decorate it, and I actually wanted to make this place as flexible as possible, meaning that that I could turn this place uh, into something different depending on what we were talking about. So let me explain that. I was thinking about some technology of having white walls, just white walls, a room with white walls and no door handles.
Okay.
And you know and certain device like a projector or something that could project some images like a very large scale, like taking up the whole wall.
Hmm.
So if you talk about, for example, is there chaos or order in the jungle? So there's a jungle,
Hmm.
and we are suddenly transported to a jungle, and there's just like a sofa in the middle of it, and we are there. And then I was thinking that if we talk about, I don't know, some coffee, I don't know, is morning coffee a routine or a ritual. So we are taken to some kind of stylish cafe, like this Franz Josef style, you know
Hmm.
and and of course, that was quite hard to do in the physical life. It's much easier here where you can change your background, but somehow I don't feel like changing my background, every time I change the question. But especially that, you keep your own background, right? So it's like, it's only me.
And then you started
But
thinking of VR glasses.
yeah, exactly. Then I was honestly into VR technology, and I thought VR somehow disappeared not only from my radar but from the world's radar. I think the technology, the 3D world is being developed, but right now we talk about AI. There was the time when the metaverse was a buzzword. It's no longer, but I was thinking about opening exactly, some kind of a classroom in the VR. And this is where we could honestly, transform that room, that space into whatever we want, But I was really into that concept of a travel agency, a travel agency, or actually traveling sitting on your sofa, So it's like, because what we do are actually mental travels, We travel mentally, intellectually. We can go to space and back on Earth within, one question or something like this. It's great. It's great. I really enjoy these travels, and they are great. They are intellectual journeys every time someplace else,
And it takes more than money actually to for the travel to be successful.
Yeah, you're
It
right.
takes
I
a
mean,
broad horizon,
you
no?
can't be like a passive, exactly. You can't be like a passive passenger. Exactly. It
Pay the
takes,
money and that's it.
but you say it takes some horizons. Of course, it takes also certain effort, to first, um, not to ignore, not to neglect the question, the concept, because sometimes when you you are being asked, what's the difference
And
between,
you
or
dismiss it,
what?
yeah, as
Yeah,
something.
you dismiss it. You're like, it's one and the same. Who cares?
Hmm.
And but this is not how you're going to earn yourself a ticket because this kind of attitude doesn't earn you any trip. But if you take up the challenge, and you start digging, wow, it can really transport you to places you haven't dreamt about.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's great. It's great. So definitely, um, I'm not. I hesitate, before saying that it's us, the way we teach, the way we speak, that this is, opening horizons, but it's not really us. It's actually that effort. This is where you don't need necessarily to come with like a wide horizons. You just have to have the courage to you know to start the journey.
But what if you don't know anything about this concept?
It's in education. It's never like I don't know anything, because it's also unhealthy. If you suddenly jump from a zero knowledge to some expert knowledge. This is not how it happens.
Hmm.
In education, you start from what you know. And this is, and the whole concept of learning is about adding stuff to what you already know, but in a way that um, you 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 have to connect everything to everything. So everybody has certain knowledge. Language is like a basic knowledge we have, right? And there are certain associations, there are certain collocations, there are certain phrases, that go together.
No,
And
but I'm not
this
even talking
way,
about language, about the
Mhm. But a language is like a good starting point, but it can be anything, your professional knowledge, your the knowledge that you managed to acquire somehow
No, I
during
mean
your
that
life.
when you are asked like which sells better, something typical, something unique, and the person is telling you,
Mhm.
I don't know anything about sales, and like, okay.
Yeah, but to me, this is some kind of a laziness, because first of all, I don't know if there's any definite answer to that question.
There is, there very rarely is any definite answer.
Yeah, because we never ask, I never ask about knowledge like, how high is Kilimanjaro, like, I don't know it. That knowledge exists. You can go look it up.
Yeah.
But I guess the question is always about certain broader concepts. It's about understanding the whole, not the part. And so, if you want to answer, for example, the question about sales, it looks from outside, on the surface, it looks like, well, it's a question about sales. You have to have knowledge and experience potentially about sales, but then we all, even as consumers, we have our experiences. We know what we are buying. And it's also a very good starting point. You may remember your recent shopping list, or something that you bought that was, unique, and so on. Yeah,
True.
I think it can go both ways, and there's no correct answer, but the journey is still is great.
So what should people do if they want to go on this journey?
But they should first of all, I know what you want to say. I don't want to say that immediately, but yes, the easiest way is, of course, to sign up to our courses. Go to studiomentals.com, get in touch with us, and get yourself a ticket. We don't know where, but definitely, around the world and maybe beyond. So that's what it is. But I also recommend that to all our learners, to be open-minded and to consume content that is mm, giving you some reflections, it's super important. It's equally important to talk with people. And I don't mean in foreign languages, not necessarily, but just to talk with your family, with your friends, to have conversations, not just, um, what's the alternative to a conversation, or actually what's happening, some kind of
Transactional
yeah, transactional language,
i-
like, bring me the beer
inter.
from the fridge, or something like that, but to go
How
to go deeper
sexist.
than that, yes,
Bring me some beer.
yeah,
Yeah.
you should you should aim for something more, like vodka, for example.
Mhm. Yeah. Or cocktail.
Cocktail, yes. Right, but yeah, I recommend that. I know it's crazy, right? If you think about your homework, so what's my homework? Your homework is to talk to your family and to talk to your friends, to have a
Hmm.
conversation, to because a lot of great ideas are actually born during conversations, you know. And read a lot. Reading is more important than anything, but it's very hard these days, of course, to first find time for reading. Second, um, find something to read.
That's not difficult.
Well, it's not a challenge. You're right, but
But
maybe I want. This is a mental shortcut. I want to say find something meaningful to read. Is that a challenge? Maybe not. Maybe
I
not.
think the
But this
challenge
is
today is to keep your focus on, because it's a problem for a lot of
keep
people.
your focus. Yeah, 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 yeah. Put away your phone and
Hmm.
and just read a book.
Not
There's a nice, I
Facebook.
mean, not Facebook, but a book.
A book. Yeah.
Yes, it could be an ebook. Why not? But a book, a
Hmm.
novel, may potentially. A very interesting stat from the latest Ezra Klein talk show or
Hmm.
or podcast. He says that only a few years ago, I can't exactly remember when was it, but a couple of years ago, young people declared reading as their leisure activity, and they read something like 6 books per year
Hmm.
for leisure, as a leisure activity, like, and right now I think it dropped dramatically, to 0 or 1. So
Hmm.
basically, books stopped being treated like, like entertainment. It's telling, All
TikTok.
right. Yeah, probably it's TikTok culture, and then all that, but not
The
going
idea
to,
of entertainment. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I'm far away from,
I think reading is
preaching and
mostly
so on,
seen
but
as work by young
as
people.
work. Yeah, 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 it's work, you read it because you
That's
want to
why it's
grow.
off-putting.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, even if you're, I guess, a football player, work becomes, off-putting in the sense that, oh my God,
Football
I have to
player.
go to
Ice
training.
cream tester.
Ice cream tester. Imagine doing that professionally. Or, what about a computer games tester? It's also, you can't even, beat the game. You just have to, play it, write a review, and take another one, and play another one. That sucks totally.
There's fun is in that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Great. So much for the introduction, Masha. Time to buy a ticket somewhere, And how
But
about how about
how about
you
telling
want?
people that they can be guests on this show, not just
Oh,
join
sorry.
classes
Yeah,
for
I
free?
always save
Absolutely
that
free
for.
ticket.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I always save that for the very end of this podcast, where maybe a few
Nobody
people
listens. Yeah.
are still listening. Yeah, but we need guests. I cannot emphasize that harder, you know.
No, no, I would rephrase it. You need to be on this show. It's a free
And you need to
ticket.
be, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a free ticket, you know. Just get in touch with us. Tell us that, hey, I want to be on your show. I like the conversations you're having, you know, I want to be part of it. And
yeah.
you're in.
You're in. Yeah, no
But you don't know what will be the question.
selection.
That's, you know, that's the thing, you know.
And
But you come
there's another
here,
catch, like how many people are on Earth now? How many millions, billions of people
uh,
will see you?
around 8 billion
Yeah,
people,
all these people will see
all
and
of
hear
them,
you.
each
Yes.
one of them, even newborn
Mhm.
babies may listen to you. All right.
Yes.
But at least they have that possibility, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Unless they don't have access to the internet. I don't know how many people are actually connected to the net. More and more these days, but maybe not the entire 8 billion.
Well, they soon will be, and it's
There
there.
soon will be exactly though. All
Yeah.
right. Great. So join us on that show. Go to tolpodcast.com and simply get in touch with us, you know. Great. Masha, is there anything else that needs to be mentioned? I'll save it for later, you know. Everybody who's listening, you have to wait with the rest of the links till the end of the show. I'm not telling you right now. I
Okay.
mean, I keep it secret. I keep
Okay.
it secret.
Okay. Hmm.
But there's a lot you can do with us, you know, a lot.
Okay.
All right, Masha, time for you to get
To
yourself a
be a
ticket somewhere,
punchback
you know.
for 8 billion. Okay.
All right, great. And how about a ticket to the
Mars. Okay.
second league football
Already
game?
an okay. What happened to the
So
first league? I'm not good enough.
the first league is not important. I wanted to ask you: is can watching or attending a second league games be attractive? So what I mean is, you know, not the top class, not, you know, the Champions League. I'm kind of framing it like it's about sports, but it could be about rock concerts. What's the point, or is it exciting to go to the second or third league of performers?
Let me put it into the terms that I understand.
All
You're
right,
talking
great.
about attending a school concert when your child is not performing.
For example, I think I love that illustration. For example, but
Because usually it's
yeah,
so, so, so bad. And the only reason
yeah,
you go there is because you
it's because
promised.
your child is there.
Yeah, your child is there. Uh,
Yeah, I'm talking about because you know if you look at how professional sport, let's stick to that, is organized. You know, there are leagues. You know, and
mhm.
obviously the best play in the top league, the you know Premiership, and then you've got these divisions. You know, they go way all the way down to the very local football clubs and so on. Uh, is it actually exciting that bottom of the ranking?
Well, I guess that's why this parallel with this school concert. I guess there needs to be some, for it to be exciting, there needs to be some, mm, I don't know, kind of a personal touch to it, like your local team, your town team or your city team is playing,
Hmm.
or somebody is on the team. Because if it's really
Hmm.
bad, like I can't find. I mean, why do people go and watch, let's say, football? I'm told that it's the atmosphere, you can't get
Hmm.
it at home.
Hmm.
I don't know what I'm even talking about because I've never attended an event like this.
Hmm.
Oh no,
Never
I
attended
have I have when
second
I
Ukrainian league or
no
third
no
league.
when I was in the US, I was, I guess, 17. And
Hmm.
of course, they wanted to give me like the best American experiences, and
Hmm.
they took me to a baseball game. And
All right.
I don't remember
Was
how
that a
long.
local game or was it MLB?
No, what?
I mean the Major League of Baseball
No,
means
I'm
like
sure
the
it wasn't
top
something
level.
major. It was a St. Louis. St. Louis is a big city. And
Hmm.
I remember the stadium was big, but I didn't understand shit. The game lasted, I don't know how long, and even by the end of the game, I
Hours.
still the rules were a mystery to me. Like, what it
Hmm.
still is. This game is a mystery.
Hmm.
So I kind of I don't know if I enjoyed it. Uh, would I have enjoyed it if it was
Did you
what
eat
is
a
the
hot dog at least?
I'm not into hot dogs. Okay, well, okay. That's the only time. So I'm
But
told
maybe. Mhm.
that people go there for this, atmosphere. You feel united with other fans when
Hmm.
rooting for your um, team. You can't get this at home
Hmm.
unless you are with your buddies and lots of beer, right?
Hmm.
Why are you nodding?
Yeah, I'm
Are
nodding.
you are you agreeing with me?
I listen, till the end of your line of thinking,
So, uh, I don't know. Okay, if it's a very well-known big team, there's just much more at stake, yes?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it gives this experience, this, excitement, right?
Yeah, but it's also, the level of the sportive level, is much higher in the sense that, these are professionals, the best players out there,
Do you think all
You-
people, I mean, I don't know how big the stadium is, all these people who are there present can appreciate the
Mhm.
skill?
No, definitely not. I mean, I don't even think that people in the end watch the games for the skill, of the players. However, it's there is something to it, I mean, I could watch like some NBA games, that, there are some teams I don't really care about. They are from far away, and for all I care, I don't care about the result, but I'm sometimes willing to watch the game just because the basketball they play is beautiful.
So
It's
you are
smooth.
able to
It's
appreciate the skill.
I'm able to appreciate the game because I like the game, not because I'm linked
Well,
to
but because it's
emotionally
elegant,
to
because of the skill,
because it's elegant. Yeah, because
because
it's
of the
elegant, because
skill.
the way because
And
of
the
the skill,
lower
definitely.
level players cannot demonstrate this kind of elegance.
You're right. You're right, and that's why it would be awfully hard to sell second is not so low, but the third, fourth, fifth league, right?
So
Because it's
yeah, so I guess if it's not about the skill, then you just have to support the team. It must mean something to you. Otherwise, it's like with the school concert. If you are able to, if you can appreciate, Mozart, and that's the music
hmm
you like, I mean, you will not find a school concert interesting. But many
hmm
people who go to these school concerts, I mean, put them in I don't know, New York's Central Park for a concert of
hmm
some famous musicians, and they would not be able to appreciate it.
hmm
So if you're like that, and if we're talking about sport, then it doesn't really matter. You go watch the game because you love the game.
There's so many
Support
music
it.
bands that don't make it, to you know, the top league, but I guess they are still worth listening to.
Yeah, and there are like I don't know how to call them, not local, but okay, every country has their musicians that who are not famous, internationally. And you probably can understand that, it's not the same level as, I don't know, Rihanna or
Hmm.
whoever.
Hmm.
But you listen to them anyway because first of all, they sing in your language. They sing about things that you can relate to.
Hmm.
There are some cultural references. There are things that only
Hmm.
people who
Hmm.
live in this country can understand. So I see why.
And sometimes I would also say that sometimes it's so random who gets to the top. Like, perhaps it's a matter of the manager, it's a matter of, I don't know what, being born
Well,
in
you're
the
not
right
talking
place at the
about
right
just
time.
bad music that can be
I'm not talking
sold.
about music, but
If you play
sometimes.
good music, then you will be, sooner or later you will be noticed. You will become famous.
Are you sure? But
But
what if
sometimes
what
we
if
have
you
really
stay in the
bad music.
underground forever? Like, because sometimes it's a matter of really like remember there was that girl who was promoted by Justin Bieber. I mean, she
Yeah.
would be forever like, some sort of a local singer, but Justin Bieber added her to his playlist, and big uh sharks, of the industry suddenly saw like, whoa, that's interesting.
I don't know who you're talking about, but was she good?
She was as good as any,
Well, you see,
singer. Like,
then it's a matter of luck and good manager, good marketing. But if you're really good, I don't know, like Kurt Cobain, he never
mhm,
wanted fame.
mm,
He was famous anyway. I mean, it just happened to him.
because of his death,
No, he was
that
famous
made
even
him that
before.
made him even more famous.
Oh,
Except
death always makes
he
you
was.
uh it's not like it makes you more famous. It just dramatically diminishes the chances of you becoming
Making a mistake.
mundane at some age, making a mistake of
Oh
these
yeah,
endless
you're right.
comebacks, the
You're
oh,
right. You're right.
you're
You're right.
forever young and famous.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what
So,
it does.
however weird it sounds, death immortalizes your work.
But there must be some work to immortalize to begin with.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So,
You're right. All
mm,
right. I wonder, so what about reading
bad
second
books,
or third league of books? The so-called, um, what is the name for that literature?
chick
It's
lit.
not whatever. How about that?
Is there a what is the word for, the same but for the other sex? She's a
Um,
chick and he's a nice who? Dude?
Dude, I
What is
guess.
that? No. Okay,
Yeah, I guess
dude
dude
lit?
has.
No. Why is there
Whatever.
chick lit but no dude lit?
Because
That's
dudes don't read.
okay, okay, okay. Uh, well, I know people who read this stuff and they understand that this is second rate, let's call it. But
Mhm,
sometimes you're just so tired and you want to, I don't know, you want something easy and something raw that you
mhm.
don't have to think about. It just touches you in very, raw places. Let me put it like this.
That's interesting. There's this. I'm jumping a little bit, but have you ever read? So I'm not going to jump that yet. But have you ever read any like self-published book, like something that wasn't um, read by editors, or published by a publishing house?
I guess it's The Martian. I'm not sure I know his
What, The
story exactly.
Martian?
Yeah, I
Oh my
think
God,
he started
that's a
publishing
good
it.
story.
Yeah, I think he started publishing it like chapter by chapter somewhere on. It's not like Amazon self-publishing. It's something different.
Hmm,
And then
hmm,
somebody
hmm, hmm.
noticed him and offered, but something like that. But if I'm not mistaken, I'm not 100% sure.
All right.
That's the only thing
Uh,
I can think of because I read this book.
yeah, yeah. What is the name of the author? It's
I don't remember.
Weir, Andy Weir, I think.
Like,
It's Andy Weir.
really don't
And
remember.
and he had a great book, Hail Mary Project. Fantastic book.
Mm, I've read
All
only
right.
The Martian.
But the thing is that, yeah, sometimes there might be a pearl, in that ocean, right? It's not
Yeah.
often, but it's the same thing. This is what I wanted to say earlier. When my neurons were firing. that the same refers to computer games and the so-called the trend of indie games. Indie games are games developed by, that they are like, almost like homemade games, developed by people who have passion. Sometimes not even that much, but some of these indie games are developed by people with passion, and they are something really. Sometimes they are something unique, something really
Mhm.
special. There's a beautiful game. Still, I don't know if it counts as indie. I think Planet of Lana. What a beautiful game, beautifully written, beautifully designed. Fantastic, great story.
I'm thinking now about something else. It's not like the second league or this second rate things, but
Hmm.
local things. For example,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if I
Which is
live
pretty much the
in
same. This is pretty much the
no,
same.
no, 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 no.
No.
Listen, for example, I live in this neighborhood, yeah?
Hmm. Hmm.
To give you a demonstration, it's like a dead-end street, maybe one, okay, 1.5 kilometer long. There are 7 coffee shops.
All right.
And these coffee shops are places where people just, gather to have a chat after work or something like that. So they are kind of, let's say, community building places. So imagine
Hmm.
now I find out that, we have a local band.
Hmm.
People, a guitarist from my building, from this building,
Yeah.
they have a lead singer or something, and they would give a concert in our, park. Of course
Hmm.
I will go. It's
Exactly.
something,
Exactly.
but it's not about,
And you even, I bet they are not even so bad,
I
Don't know
don't
if,
know. Well, I hope they're not like so bad. I don't expect, the level of the Queen or something like that.
yeah, the
I
Rolling
understand it's
Stones.
a local band, and I'm kind of, supporting my community, something like
Hmm.
this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's about lowering your expectations. And then I was thinking about, for example, learning to play a musical instrument. Mm,
Hmm.
I think maybe 30 years ago, the attitude was like this. Okay, so you have these music schools where parents send their children, and it's like a hub where these teachers are looking for these gems, very very promising, and they
Hmm.
advance only such children. So
Hmm.
once you realize that you're not particularly talented, many people would see it as a waste of time if you continue learning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I remember I had a conversation when my first son started the cello, and my father-in-law said, like, what's the point of even learning the cello? He's not particularly talented. He's not going to be playing in,
Hmm.
this orchestra, for
Yeah, yeah,
example,
yeah,
country
yeah, yeah.
orchestra.
Yeah.
So better send him to learn the guitar. At least he will get laid, Uh,
Is that what he
and
said?
well, he said he'll be, popular with girls or something. Will,
All right, all
when there
right.
is a company of friends. But basically, I think this is
That
what he
that was
meant.
that's what it means. All right.
That's what it means. But now the attitude is very different. I mean, even adults go and learn a musical instrument. You understand that you're not going to be Keith Richards or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can play a song when your friends come visit or something like this, when you're
Hmm.
camping near the fire.
But
Like,
you talk you speak right now from the perspective of like the amateur who's
yes,
doing something, and there's a lot
yes.
of fun playing guitar or any instrument, or doing or knitting. I
Or
don't
you
know,
can form a
all
local
sorts of.
band without even hopes of becoming super famous. I mean,
Hmm.
famous beyond your neighborhood. And why not
Hmm.
if it's your hobby? And you can,
Hmm.
play in a park once in a while and people will come and listen and have a lovely evening.
Hmm.
And I think I like this attitude. And it's not only about music, it's about, learning to paint. Well,
Hmm.
many different kinds of arts. Dancing is extremely popular now.
Yeah, but I wonder because all the big names in whatever, in sports, in literature, in music, um, they had to be local, at one point, when they were young.
Yeah, but
It's
I'm
just
talking
that,
about a situation we definitely know you can't hope for world
hmm
fame, but you do it
hmm
anyway.
yeah, but it kind of it makes sense for you who are a local, to go to their concert,
Yes.
but it totally doesn't make sense to broadcast that concert globally
No, no,
or
no.
nationally,
But
at
this is
least.
not even my ambition
Hmm
if I'm in such a band,
hmm
And it's
All right.
nice to have these local things like, oh my God, we have a my neighborhood band.
Yeah, you could be proud
Cool.
of that, and
Yes.
from the emotional perspective, I think it totally changes the way you perceive it. And I
Yes.
think it's the same. It's the same uh, with absolutely everything. And if you know someone, you totally change your perspective on what they are doing, how they are doing
I
it.
think you change the criteria of assessing.
I think it's also a little trap for teachers who know their students. You assess them in a totally different way. If you
Mm.
work with someone who wants to get a job and he needs to polish their language skills, like he needs to ace the interview in English, then it's very hard to assess that person, because I know that person. I would hire that person immediately, because I know who that is. But others who are not from the same neighborhood, who don't know that person the way I know, they just judge by the externals, right? By what they hear, by I don't know what. It's a totally different thing.
So that's
It would,
why I said, I mean, I wouldn't go to a different neighborhood to watch their band play or their
yeah,
team.
yeah.
I couldn't
You feel
care
like it's a
less.
waste of
So
time. Yeah, it's
that's what I
a
was
waste of
talking about, like
time.
some personal involvement in this. Some,
Yeah, yeah. Basically, your child, being out there, or at least, the people who live in the same block of flats.
hmm yeah.
All right. Great, great. Masha, it would be quite cheesy, of course, to ask you what's the point of listening to the Third League podcast.
Uh,
But for those who
well,
know
again, the
the hosts,
define a third league. So you merely okay. Okay, let me ask you this. So a podcast,
no, it's me asking.
any
Right.
random podcast, yeah. These guys have recorded, let's say, 300 episodes. Yes.
hmm
Now they are third league just because, they have 30, 40 plays. Yes. So imagine one day they get discovered and suddenly 8 billion people on earth start
hmm
listening to the same
hmm
episodes and it's
hmm
suddenly first league.
You're
The
right. This
quality
is so
hasn't
relative.
changed.
But it's the same about books. It's I'm not sure about sports, because you have to beat others there. It's quite hard, to say that, in the case of books or
No, you
podcasts,
can say it about
who's
anything.
better.
I'm saying that it's because they've improved their quality and now they are in the first
Hmm
league, or they simply got discovered. These are two
Yeah, they
different
got
things,
this
I
guy.
think.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I mean,
But
their old stuff got discovered, and
But
everybody
I'm
say,
not
"Why
so
this?"
sure. I'm not so sure if it's not the case also in with music bands. Sometimes they just need to be discovered, and sometimes they just die playing in the local cafe. You know,
Yes, but how do you get to the first? Yes, you're discovered. They understand that you're very
hmm
young. You need to do a little work.
A
And
manager.
then when you, yeah, and then you improve the quality of music. I mean, you can afford more expensive equipment, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then only then you get to the first league. But with this podcast that you mentioned, what is it that they
That
suddenly
mysterious.
become? Yeah. So yes, well, of course it makes sense to listen to it if you know the hosts. Yes, that it goes without saying.
Yeah, yeah, because I know them. They are my teachers, or I know who that is, right? And it changes totally the picture.
Yeah.
All right, great, Masha. Thanks a lot for your reflections about whether it makes sense to attend second league
And you see how little
matches.
I know about sport.
You know very little. Yeah, I'm surprised. But it
Although
doesn't.
you
But
would you would
the
be
question is not
surprised
about.
if you
The question
went.
is not about sports.
Yeah, I know,
So
I understand. The question is not about yeah, but it's about second what? League, second rate, second.
yeah, it's second-rate content. And
Mhm.
it's about attending, reading, appreciating second-rate content.
Yeah, but here the catch is rate, this word.
Hmm.
So if you rate something highly because suddenly everybody else is listening to it, the quality hasn't changed, then what kind of rate is that?
Yeah, because the major and decisive factor is popularity.
Hmm.
If something gets popular, if a name gets big,
Hmm.
then suddenly it's the first league. It's an Oscar actor. It's
But it
it's
doesn't mean
uh
it's good. That's what I'm trying to say.
it
That it
sort of
deserves to
means, I
be in
mean,
the first league.
it's tricky. It's absolutely tricky, but there's a lot of brilliant stuff lower than the first league, for sure. It's
And
only
the
a
other way
matter of
around,
discovery, and then the other way
at
around. Yeah.
least when we talk about music
Mhm.
in Ukraine. I'm sorry.
All right. But you mean,
We have these cheesy
Mhm.
white male singers
Hey,
who collect stadiums of what is it? Do you have this? Do you recognize the phrase if I say Balzac age woman?
yeah, sure, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're
are they
right.
first rate? Well, looking at the number of tickets sold, you would say
Yeah.
yes. But this quality of music,
Hmm.
I mean, well,
This
I'm
is not
sure
the
you know
first.
what I'm talking about. I'm sure
Yeah,
you
yeah, I
have
know what you're
the
talking
same
about. I
guys
know.
in
Yeah, yeah, sure,
Poland
sure,
and in France, maybe.
sure.
So
All
obviously,
right, great.
popularity is not the only
It's not the
uh,
only
factor.
marker of quality, right?
Hmm.
All
Yeah.
right, great, Masha. Thanks a lot. Great conversation with you as always. I just wanted to remind everybody that we publish a weekly newsletter, and you can sign up and listen to what we have to say. Not just me, not just Masha, but also our students. Masha's
They're
not
not much.
currently. Masha's too busy to publish, but
Oh,
who
too
knows?
busy to publish. Yeah, yeah.
Who
Publishers
knows?
stand in line
Yeah, exactly.
to
Who
rectify
knows?
my reputation of, who knows absolutely nothing and cares nothing ab for sport. You could find me. It was, I think, 1995. I was at the railway station, waiting to catch my train, and I was crying like I don't know who because Baggio missed.
Ah, yeah, Roberto Baggio missed the
Yes,
penalty.
the penalty.
Yeah, I remember that.
Almost,
Why,
missed
why,
my
why,
train.
why, why,
Well, because it
why
was
would
the
you be crying?
timing. Well, because I was rooting for this team, Italians.
Oh, right, right. But was just a one-time thing, or are you generally rooting for Italy?
I was for a long time
All right,
until I lost interest in football.
all right.
Maybe I was just interested in Roberto
Roberto
Baggio,
Baggio.
as
Yeah.
always. Always the case with the girls, when they're interested in football. You have to dig
Yeah,
deeper.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, there is some kind of hidden agenda.
Yes, hidden
In
agenda, always.
All right, great. Masha, thanks so much for this conversation. It's over to you right now.
It's over to me. So this was another episode of the Thinking Out Loud podcast. Thanks everyone for listening.
Second league podcast.
Thank you. Third, you said third.
All right,
No,
so
for
maybe
this
third
great
league.
podcast, like 8 billion people who listen to us. Thank you. I hope you will have access to the internet forever. Stay tuned for the next one. Bye bye.
Bye bye.